Hello again, and welcome back to the Dev Plays the Crucible of Avarice, using the Animite Tales tabletop RPG system. Last session, the party underwent a battle against Fergus for the last time. After finally defeating all of his clones and his undead, one of the versions of Fergus teleported himself and Aldous, the priest, to a unknown location in the middle of some kind of tundra land, full of large amounts of snow and snowy weather. They had a conversation, and it seemed as though Fergus was trying to give some of his ability brands onto Aldous' hand. Aldous then stunned him temporarily, to which Aldous was then shouted at by Fergus, as he stated that it was actually a dumb thing for him to do this. Despite this, as he was trying to then get back hold of Aldous, immediately Lord teleported behind him, the first supervillain who was revived the session beforehand, cut off one of his hands and seemed to do something with it. To of which he got a brand on the back of his hand, before he then allowed Aldous to deliver the killing blow. Aldous was then able to teleport back after an epiphany moment of learning what the powers actually were within his left hand, and was able to teleport back to Jotunjail Island. After the team got back there and they discussed a few things, one of the biggest things that were on their mind was the fact that despite how helpful Lord was, he did steal Felix's heart, to no actual health issues whatsoever to Felix so far. Despite this, the rest of the team, most of the team, agreed to help Lord out in the terms of giving him the Kingdom of Matrata once they had defeated those in charge of this holy city, known as Matrata in Eden. However, they then stated that it would potentially take them 2 weeks to ready themselves up and build up the necessary enforcements and armaments that they may need going into battle. It has now been a week since then, and we now come back to the rest of the party, who have all gathered to Pinky's house to discuss the soon-to-be war. The current people who are in there are Pinky, Aldous, Stan, Felix, Ferb, and one of the Ushimar clansmen, Majra. As we now enter this scene, you are all standing or sitting around the table, whilst there is a large map of Eden placed on it. As Pinky walks over, grabbing a couple of drinks for different people, giving them their beverages that they asked for. Yes. It depends on if people chose to have alcoholic drinks. I mean, your stockpile is maximum anyway. You're not currently wearing it. Well, it has to be on you or with you, and it currently isn't. But yeah, what beverages has everyone got then?
I just have some cucumber water.
I've just realised the audio wasn't working on your
Time to start again.
Either way, so that is a lemon water from Felix. That is a brewski for Ferb. What is it for Stan again? Sorry.
Have some cucumber water.
Cucumber water and Aldous.
Just a cup of tea.
Okay. As she passes the drinks around, Majra basically just asking for nothing at the time. She sits down as she says, "So, right now, Anake is not with us. He's currently out looking for something. I think he said something about training with one of the Ushima. Actually, he's on one of his trials right now, so he won't exactly be joining us. Despite this, he said that he will hear everyone's plans out before he then makes his own judgment. Very well. So, Eden is actually a very large country, but despite everything, Matrata is actually separate from the rest of the country. It's a very large city designed to almost be a gigantic castle, multiple kilometers squared. It has incredibly impenetrable walls made entirely out of iron. The place looks like as if it's made out of gold. Heavily fortified, and it seems as though it's definitely got a lot of guardsmen, considering that there are many different posts. However, despite this, there are only 3 main gates. The one in the front, and then finally the back. The back is actually guarded by large walls that go out for miles and miles. They call this the garden. The garden is one of the only places that they can go so that there is less problems. However, if you're able to get into the garden, depending on your particular inclinations, you may be able to get in. I found out something very interesting. Most people who go there are Huskonian, anthropomorphials, or even other creatures that don't exactly look human. Because of this, they're hunted mercilessly, but if they get into the actual gates, it's known as the Underworld. It's an underground city populated only by Huskonian people and other races that didn't exactly fit into their society. They call it a mercy. This place is apparently safe for them. They won't attack them and they won't do anything, but they're directly underneath basically their sewer system. Despite this, they're able to thrive in an underground setting. Despite everything, though, they obviously need to go out and hunt for their food. So, of course, they go back out through their gate into the garden, which is also known as the hunting grounds for the angels. Training grounds for all of the would-be soldiers and later on fighters. Despite this, there might be some possibility in attacking them through the garden, potentially even trying to get others on our side. But we would be playing to their strongest feats. The front gate, on the other hand, is usually only guarded by, according to you guys, a couple of guards. Now, if we all just rock up there, we probably are going to be noticed and they will alert even more of them. Despite this, we don't exactly know too much about the outer and top layers of this place. So for all we know, we could just fly in over the top and forget about the walls. Just go right into the city. Any thoughts?
Felix will pull out the golden button he was given back when we were somewhat chummy with Eden. I was given this button that if I remember correctly, will open a portal to one of their labs. If we could reverse engineer it, it's a possible another entryway.
Okay. Well, that's something, although I'm not entirely sure if I trust using their technology. But perhaps Stan or even Aldous might be able to figure out how it works, or even see if it's a possibility rather than a dead end.
I also pulls out the ring. Got this. I believe. Was it Ferb that they recommended it to, or was it Stan?
Yes. So, as you pull this out, you pull out a black ring with 5 green eyes that look all around, and then they eventually focus their attention to Felix once he pulls out the ring and shows you.
Huh. I got it. Still not the ring. I forgot.
So is that
Correct.
that's one of the objects that Nake's brothers recommend you get?
Indeed. We have 2 more items we could acquire, being the Oblivion Blade and the Grandfather Greatsword.
From what I heard, the Grandfather Clock Greatsword, or the Grandfather Greatsword, isn't that something that they said that might be something that Stan could use?
I believe so. So, guess how many how many different organizations do we have allied with us against Eden currently?
The South and the North, so all of the main factions of the Land of the Sunken Moon. A very specific faction of Huskonia, such as the bar brawlers and the sort of the fighters and stuff. A couple have also allied themselves without necessary question. The Ushmar clan as well have also stated that they are on your side. And a couple of other Huskonians, or Husks, that were not necessarily part of the Huskonian places have also stepped forward. Very few others from any other walks of life have actually stepped forward so far. Despite this, you're looking at an army of a good couple thousand, maybe 4,000 at tops.
Well, we have a decent few. I wouldn't be against getting more allies. I know we might not have the time.
We have plenty of time.
So far that we know. We haven't actually been attacked by any of them yet, but it doesn't mean that we won't be in the next coming days. Anake said that a few things that he's working on and a few things that some of the others are working on will take them another week. But we need to actually have some kind of battle plan before that. So far, there's a couple of ideas. First of all, we wait until they come to us. Try and fortify this place the best that we can. Obviously, we could try and take them on, maybe make them aware, try and get some kind of big army versus army deal. We set on the ground and march towards them. Obviously, there's a couple of others, maybe trying to get an aerial advantage, considering that they do have aerial capability. Any of the ones that have the special unique attribute of the wings, even if they have non-manipulative abilities or even non-flying based abilities, they can then gain access to flight.
Correct. As confident as I am that I could probably take on the lesser of the army, well, you guys go in for the main generals. Having more allies would be helpful.
Speaking of the generals, so far from what you've told me, we have this. She then, places down a couple of, tokens. They're just, coins. And they've all got, little symbols written on them, but they're all different symbols. So far, we know that there are 2 that you have met that are still alive, and then there are 5 that are of the top. The 2 that you have met so far are Igniel and Dariel. Dariel being a void child that Anake beat, but claims to also have an ability known as one of the 10 Commandments. On top of that, you've also then got Igniel, another individual with some kind of light mimicry power or something similar to that, who also claims to have one of the 10 Commandments. On top of this, you spoke to Kokabiel, but last time I checked, Kokabiel beforehand was actually an individual who was on this island. However, according to recent reports, he apparently gave up his commandment, so I don't exactly know where that puts him. After that, there are the 5 council members. Uzurkriel, we were actually able to get some information on him. Uzurkriel has been known as the Time Cleric. He got that name whilst he was in the War of the Legends in Emjanar Linear about 50 years ago. Second one is Azrael, wielder of Azrael's blade, the one that Anarche stole from Simakael. Turns out that his fighting prowess isn't what it used to be, but this guy was known for being the Angel of Destruction, so we need to keep that in mind. Next one is Remph, known as the Seraphim of Time. So far we don't really know much about him other than he's a time child. We don't know what exact powers he has, but he's, according to what you told us, only wields one weapon by his side, a rapier. Next one is Marsriel. We don't exactly know too much about her other than she's a void child. So darkness manipulation, and that's about it. According to Anarche, he said that she seemed rather interesting, considering that she would have been interested in, quote-unquote, an execution. So she might actually be feisty and want to fight, just like, well, muscle-bound. Next one, the last, but not least, Gabriel, the Angel of Light. So far, the things that we know about Gabriel are, thus far, mentioned by 3 different Seraphim-level threats that you guys have spoken to. Jun, Simakael, and Igniel. Upon this, you've also had him mentioned to you via the means of Sezu, who warned you about Remph, Marsriel, and Gabriel. And the only other thing that we know about him is that he is also an Animon child. According to some rumors, but this isn't exactly confirmed, he may very well be the one who's been giving the commandments. In other words, if that's true, he's figured a way to be able to infuse special powers onto people, grafting them, and giving them the ability of energy generation and manipulation, alongside with wings. The fuck was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Can you be more
What's
quiet
that?
when you do your yawn?
That threw us off. A fucking moan out of nowhere. Is someone in Pinky's bedroom that we don't know about?
Can I
Yeah,
get
just
a oh
as you
yeah? Fuck's sake. Anyway,
No.
yeah. Either way,
Sorry about that.
This
Some of
means-
us are sleep deprived.
this means that Gabriel might very well have the ability to grant these abilities to people and may have even more further extensive powers. Despite this, this is all that we know of their forces, other than Simakael and Humoriel, who are already dead.
We know they're not big on revival, so I don't think they'll be coming back.
Well, I doubt that Simakael could be brought back, considering the way in which that he was killed, and had his powers stolen from his body. Right? Looks
Correct.
over at Stan. Right, Stan?
He's pretty gone.
Of course, if I remember anything about people dying, they oftentimes come back. Looks at if there's like a picture of Fletcher.
There is no picture of Fletcher.
just stares off into the distance.
Anyway, so that's all I've been able to gather so far. But, according to a couple of rumors from what I've heard, they also have a large armory and inventory of special weapons. Actually, that's where I can gather. They actually do have a very extensive collection. It's called the Archive. The location is unknown, but it is at least somewhere inside of the Holy City. They have a vast amount of different powers and abilities, but even more ancient weapons designed by the last 3 war gods, as well as their gods of Forge. On top of that, they have also been very well known to steal many others. So far that we know of, they have 6 Animite tails and 2 ongoing orbs, which means that they have the vastest amount of animatological knowledge so far on this planet. If there is something that you can think of that they'd have, there's more than likelihood that they have it. The only thing that we know that they don't have, as of right now, is anything of the similar scale to that of the Miracle Stone. because if they had, we'd already be dead.
Correct.
So what's the plan?
There are several. I'm trying to get this whole gravity manipulation shtick under control. That will give us a few more weapons. Then there is the other matter.
What other matter?
Well, I was thinking something maybe a little more subtle, that we don't really have to fight or come in direct contact with them for. Why don't we just use a little biological warfare?
Well, I'm not exactly massively fond of it, but considering these guys kill without discrimination. But remember, there are people in Matrata who might not necessarily be as... well, I don't want to say evil, because I'm not necessarily believing that they're evil. But there are innocent people there. You can't just forgo giving away items and weaponry that's going to completely wipe out populations, even if they have nothing to do with this fight.
Oh, can't Anaka just bring them back with the miracles? Or maybe I could bring them back after they're dead.
Yeah, I don't think that that's exactly going to make it any better. Killing people and then choosing who lives and dies, that doesn't exactly sit right
That's what war
with me.
is anyway, right?
I would rather not cause a genocide.
I'd rather not trying to call ourselves gods by basically killing and then reviving only those that we choose.
But they seem to think they're gods, and
Yet
the
they
miracle
still
stone already exists.
don't bring people back on the principle of that's a line that they don't cross.
I don't know, I thought I heard something about they kind of do it when they want to.
Hmm.
I'd say our focus should either be on getting those last remaining items or gathering more allies at this current moment. We shouldn't be sitting ducks, though. We should attack in the near future.
I might know a way of getting some more people from Husconia to join the cause. I'll try and see if anyone else on this island is interested. But I don't exactly know if that's going to work too well.
Right.
So you want to go off and try and find these items, but last time I checked, the Grandfather Greatsword is unbeknownst in the terms of who can use it. I believe that the brothers stated that if it is amatologically infused, or even if it's something else, they said that it would either be given to Stan to, take apart, or even to Aldous, in case if there are any abilities that can be used from it. Then
True.
there's the Oblivion Blade, right?
Correct.
Last time I checked, that the brothers said that it was in Eden.
It's fair.
I'm not saying that you can't go there. Hell, maybe you guys going there and them trying to fight you might actually thin out the herd, but if they send too many reinforcements, are you sure you're going to be able to get out there?
Sure, we could try. While Anaka is busy, we do have the rings.
Speaking of which, if you don't already have any of them on you, I would recommend wearing them at all times. These rings mean that Anake can teleport to you, or get you to have the ability to get back to him. They're infused with some kind of special ability on top of his that allow the rings to resize to your own physiological changes. So if you do end up having to use any abilities that transform you, don't be alarmed. The rings will adjust in size.
Felix already has it on. I just don't know what fingers. It's not on the ring finger. That one's already taken.
I imagine it's the forefinger, like, you know, the first finger.
Like the pointer?
Yeah, sure, let's call it.
It's like, is either the pointer or the thumb? Which one?
No, it's the point finger.
This is my thumb ring.
I mean, it could be his thumb ring, actually. Then again, he does use knuckle dusters, so I guess that would make sense that it would be on his thumb, I guess, actually.
Did Felix just become Del Boy?
No. Although...
Unfamiliar with who that is. So
don't worry about it.
I assume anime reference to that. I just
No, it's a British TV show.
It's an old
From,
British comedy.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's very good.
Anyway.
Very funny.
I guess wearing it around my neck doesn't actually count.
Well, technically, wearing it around your neck on a necklace still could work, I guess, considering. It's more about the location. As long as it's on your person, it should be able to do that. You'll also need some way of communicating to an arche. Most of you who have bands will be able to do so, but I believe, Ferb, you don't have one, so this is going to be quite tricky for you.
Yeah, haven't had one since I died.
Punch me.
You've got a yellow band. I can't get it unless it's a red.
That's right. Never mind.
Punch me. Don't transform. Why? Punches him. Just breaks his hand immediately. Yeah, so Stan, are you wearing yours as well?
Yeah.
And Aldous?
Yeah, I'm wearing it. I'm wearing on the hand without all the tattoos on it.
That's fair.
Felix will
My right
flick the Ring of the Forgotten to whoever it was that needed it.
Ferb.
For
Oh wait, it's for me. Okay, I'll put it in put it in his pocket.
Roll me a willpower.
Oh boy.
fails willpower, eats the ring.
Get the ring.
It's surprised you didn't have him roll like dex to catch the ring.
So when you hold it and you're about to sort of put it in your pocket, you basically feel like this deep urge to wear the ring.
Huh. Maybe I'll just put it on.
That's generally the point of me giving it to you, yes.
Once you put the ring near your finger, it changes its size to sort of allow you to put it on the finger or thumbs that you put it on. Which one do you put it on, by the way?
You'll put it on his left pointer finger.
It adjusts itself in size and clamps around your finger. Not tightly so that it actually hurts, but enough to know that it's on firmly, like gripping you. As it does so, the eyes look around and then lock on as its eyes are now staring into your eyes.
Huh.
They follow you around the room, quite literally.
Felix, you wouldn't happen to know what this ring does?
No idea, it could be cursed, who knows. Anyways. Well then, since I don't think going into Eden is really that great of an idea, that leaves the Grandfather Sword, or trying to gain allies at the current moment.
There is another possibility that you could be trying to maybe find out what exactly is going on with the brothers. Last time I checked, they did leave pretty much on the same era that you guys left, but they haven't been back. So that's another thing. Unless, of course, maybe that's why Hanake's gone. Either way. There's also another possibility that you could potentially train with some of the others who might be able to help you with any techniques or abilities that you might need to learn. Especially considering that you are about to be going into a war zone in the next couple of days or weeks.
I'm just not really sure what else I can learn at this point.
Yeah, I guess that's fair enough.
I mean, are you able to deflect things back?
Technically, yes.
Ooh. Okay.
Well, we need to come up with a rough plan. So, how about for now we say our initial idea is we have our army stationed just outside of the front gate. We'll try and have it that the main generals are you guys, considering you're part of the champion team now. So you guys and Anake will be at the front. Once you guys have begun charging, I'm pretty sure that you'll all have to either split up or begin pushing through to the main gate and trying to break in. Obviously, there is a couple of other possibilities, but I feel like this is the only one that anyone's actually going to start off with. If there's any better ideas or plans, you guys are welcome to change it, but for now, since no one else has come up with anything, I'll say that this is the current plan until otherwise informed.
Sounds good. I'm fine with helping lead the front. I think it'd be, especially if we can get the gold button to actually work.
That'll change the plan drastically, but again, we'll see. Stan, you mind getting yourself or one of your clones to have a look at that button?
I can do that.
Well, then it's all yours.
Yep.
We'll probably need a division to focus on the angels that can fly, so all our people who can engage in air combat.
I'll have a look into it. Despite that, if you guys want to sort out any last few minute things, I'm going to go and see if I can figure out exactly where I can maybe find some additional things for you to look for. Besides,
Sounds good.
weaponry might be the only thing that you guys have to gain. I mean, most of you have already learned almost everything you can. Although, what about your great-great-grandfather or whatever, Majra? What is he doing? I mean, so far he's training with my cousins, but I might be able to ask him if he could perhaps train or fight alongside of you. Maybe perhaps teach you some things. Considering the man is a walking archive of different abilities, powers, and techniques, maybe he could actually train against all of you, so that you could all figure out exactly what it's like to fight in a war zone where there are multiple different possibilities happening at once. That's of course up to you, anyway.
Well, any experience, good experience at the end of the day.
I'll ask him nevertheless. Well,
Sounds like a plan.
I'm going to get going. I should probably check in and see if Anake is actually doing his trial, or if he is actually blowing it off. He gets up and begins to leave. Once sort of everything is sorted out and cleared, you guys begin to head out of Pinky's place. If there's any additional things that you guys want to sort out or do before this, I would recommend that you do so.
I guess, you know, grab my new armor and stuff. Just hang out in the bar. Not drinking anything myself, but you know.
Okay.
Just getting up the stockpile a bit.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I guess,
more physics.
Verb will ask Aldous if he could do him one more favor.
Sure, what is it?
Well, I managed to get some blood off of Stan. I wondered if you could make it able to work for me.
Sure, I could give it a go.
Perfect.
Now, I think the two most important questions are, do either of you have anything that you could infuse this blood onto?
Give me a second, I will take a look. Because I have a bunch of random stuff, I think.
I mean,
I have a gold bar.
I mean, I guess you could also just use your chemistry to make something wearable, like a ring or a bracelet or a earring or something.
You could turn the gold bar into the fur pads into a ring.
I'm trying to think. Okay, I shall attempt to make a ring with plus 15. Let's say 25.
Okay.
25.
Yeah, you make a ring.
Yes.
Out of thin air as it comes from the grand light from the tip of your finger, a ring is suddenly made.
Pure gold with. It's one of those golds like those ones that are bisected by silver, like right down the middle.
Oh yes, yeah.
One of those ones.
Okay.
Those really fancy looking ones. Then I shall. I'm assuming you've got blood in some kind of container. You're not just like got your handprint full of blood.
No, it's in a small vial.
Okay. Aldous will take it from you, and he will. I guess dip the ring into it, and then try to blood transfuse it.
Okay. Are you rolling for this, or are you... Oh, okay.
Well, that does it.
Does it?
Yeah, I think I only needed... give me a second. I'm pretty sure. I think I only needed...
To get legendary, I think it's 25.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Okay. But, let's say...
You can...
Did I need it legendary?
I mean, to get the effect that Ferb needs, yes.
Okay. Can I try again?
I was going to say, you can't try again unless if you have a practice for
do you have a
transfusion.
practice?
Okay. I was going to say, or before you roll for this, you could instead use your natural 20 of the day.
Oh. I shall roll again then, because I bypassed that route. Never mind.
Well, you infuse it, but it's
that
not
ring gets thrown away.
It's not legendary, and the blood is no longer powered. Aldous has made you a ring.
Can I use superpower manipulation to tune it?
It won't really work. It needs to be legendarily infused because it needs to be considered a power stone object for it to be properly attuned. This is why you should have used the natural 20.
Okay. Oh, I forgot about that.
I told you before you rolled it.
No, you didn't. I rolled then. You said the naturals went the other day.
No, I said about it before you'd rolled.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I thought I only needed this one. I thought it was...
No, it's 25. It's always been 25.
Yeah.
Actually, originally it was supposed to be 28, but we buffed it down to 25.
That is true, yeah.
Oh well. I have a very nice ring with some blood in it. Actually, can I take the powers from it and then attempt again?
I don't think you can. I know that you can detransfuse it, but I don't think you can do that. I'm just trying to see. Is there a way of doing that? I mean, either way, you wouldn't be able to do it now, considering you've just already rolled twice. Catalyst. Does anyone else have anything else that they need to do or want to do?
We actually have.
It's just basically just under an hour. So...
I might as well just sit and read them.
Okay.
Guess I'll just ask how much stockpile will my armor get sitting in the bar?
At least one roll go, so roll for roll the d10 plus d20.
It's a total of 10.
Total. Okay. Yeah, yep. Just now having a look. Okay. It doesn't necessarily say anything about you being able to transfer infusion abilities from things from another.
Oh.
So I think once it's done, you can't necessarily.
Done, son?
No, because I think it actually has to be a power stoned object for you to be able to actually like remove it and place it on something again. The most that you'd be able to do is transfer it from this ring onto another object. You wouldn't be able to then get the chance to make it legendary. Because you've already imprinted it and it's non-legendary. Or should I say it's weaker than actually Power Stone status.
Okay. Oh well.
So
one
not to,
shiny ring.
Yeah, one shiny ring that you now have that sadly can't do anything for you, Ferb.
Oh, there's always another time.
Indeed. Moving on. Yeah, Stan, you try and sort of do some reading. What are you trying to read?
The Book of Physics again.
You can't read in Huskonian.
I can.
Can you though?
I can now because of what I did.
Oh, right, yeah, you used... How much XP was it to get to level 4 in Huskonian?
Like 20.
Either way, so you got the ability to read and write Huskonian so you can actually read the things. I'm going to ask you to roll me a willpower.
Oh yes, my amazing willpower.
Any day. There you go. Don't you just love that? Modified 7. Okay. As you go on to sort of beginning to read the first couple of pages, you can now understand the words, but as you start doing so, you begin to get like this sort of pain in your head and pain in your eyes as it begins to warble and distort your vision. As sort of the you sort of come into this point where it's like you can barely even read it anymore, and you close the book automatically as your eyes sort of eventually recenter their vision, and you're no longer sort of got wobbly vision anymore. But as you're sort of doing this sort of like strange haze of sort of anxiety washes over, as well as suddenly this increased potential of excitement. As when you're sort of like holding your face, sort of just like, you know, because of the pain in your eyes, you sort of look over at your clone, and your clone is sort of looking at you, and he just says, "Are you okay?"
Yes.
Are you sure? Because you're currently smiling. The biggest smile I'm pretty sure we've ever had.
You're currently smiling. You never smile. What's wrong?
We never smile. What is this?
As he realised that you are indeed smiling ear to ear.
I just love books, man.
Yeah, but I mean, we've never done that to that extent. Alright, anyway. The tanks are almost done, by the way.
Which ones?
The first 3.
Okay.
I'd say about another day or 2.
Probably
you-
a good thing I scanned my brain before I did this.
As you sort of like realize that, you then realize the time and you head back up to meet with the others. Whilst this has been going on, Felix, you've been sort of in the bar as you notice that a couple of people who are actually drinking in the bar are Anarche's brothers.
Okay. I guess Felix will go sit over by them as they are drinking. It'll.
You get to roll now 3d10s plus 3d20s because that's three separate people that you're currently within close proximity to and currently in a social gathering as the three of them say, it's Felix. Come, take a seat.
Where goes it?
Well, we've just been going around the world a little bit, just seeing exactly what the sights are. This place is incredible, although it seems as though there are a lot of people who don't like you guys. Congratulations on the victory, by the way. We haven't seen an arcade, but congratulations.
Thank you. Of course, the victory isn't mine.
Well, you guys survived. I feel like that's a congratulations if ever I heard one.
Still have a lot of surviving to do.
The war, yes. Yes, we're sadly to say we can't help you on that, but we do have something else. We recently found out that there's a couple more items that are actually quite interesting to us, but again, we don't really want to take them away from you, so I actually do have a new list. You can check your old piece of paper, it will have updated by now.
Okay. Pulls, because he has the paper on him, pulls it out.
There are about 3 to 4 additional things. However, you'll notice that the grandfather clock has also had its area changed.
Interesting. Wait, where's the new? I swear, if the new area is in Eden.
No.
Damn it! They got to it first.
It states that it is no longer in Collegium. It's actually in Glandrine. However, the other 3 are in Collegium.
Okay.
That place is a walking, talking museum. Well, not walking or talking, actually. I realise that I shouldn't speak so literally about things, considering... I mean, you guys... anyway, yeah, that place is massive. I mean, it has some of the most incredible weapons. Other than the Forge God, I've heard this place is second to none, in the terms of its both collection and forgers. Apparently, it's actually where a certain legendary Husconian forger got his tradecraft from. I think you might know him. Jimmy Grum.
Right. Currently wearing armor made by him, so yes. He is on this island after all.
Yeah. Despite everything else that we've seen, those 3 items might come in handy, but I don't think they're going to part with them easily or willingly. So you're going to either need to have to bring a hell of a lot to theirs, or you're going to have to fight or steal it from them. Despite that, I'd say at least all 3 of those items on that list definitely concur. But even if you can't get any of them, there are still quite a few things that you could get on either that island, or even a couple of others that we've also got. Mark these down as well. As he then opens up a piece of paper of his own and writes on it with a pencil. You then look over at your piece of paper and 3 new locations have just been written down on the piece of paper.
Right.
Psychically linked paper. It's something that we usually carry around from our own universe, but it is something that we actually picked up a while back on a similar universe to this. It's pretty clever. Despite this, you're going to have to make sure that you don't let that paper burn. Since it's psychically linked, my paper will also burn.
I'll do my best to make sure that doesn't happen.
Thank you. As he continues drinking, he then says, "So, where are you going?"
Well, since the Oblivion Blade is in Eden at the moment, if we were to go for any of the items, it'd be either the new ones or the Grandfather Sword. Though I also think it would be good to possibly get more allies for the war. I know you guys aren't going to partake in it, but if you have any suggestions, I'm all ears.
Collegium is probably a good place in the terms of most people, considering you're definitely going to need more catalysts on your side. They've got a ton of them. But also they've got incredibly well-versed people of different trades there. Understandings of animatology, blood work, all sorts. They are very well-versed as well in ability crafting, so they also understand how superpowers work and how that they could be potentially externalized better. Or internalized better. Or used better environmentally. Nevertheless, I'm sure that you'll find something there.
That's good.
However, the reason as to why we found out that the individual had the weapon, the grandfather greatsword, had been moved to Glandrine was apparently someone not only bought it, but the individual who bought it was actually someone who could wield it.
Interesting.
So, I mean, if you want it, you're probably going to have to fight them for it. Or steal it from them. Or probably fight them, then steal it from them. Or, depending on if you're going to kill him, loot it from him.
I don't doubt that's probably what we'll end up doing if we do go for that.
Well, you've got a couple of other different locations as well. There's also one that you should probably be aware of. Something here, as he points at one of the locations. The location reads Garrison. He says, if you go there to that particular set of coordinates, you're probably looking at maybe finding some people with some interesting tech-based weaponry. Not necessarily helpful to you, but we are aware that your compatriot, Stan, might be able to help him. On this one, however, this particular one here, as it's the second location, it then says, on the second location it says, Mjanar Linear. He said, on here, you probably might be able to find something relatively interesting. Very little people actually use powerful weapons, but for some reason, some people have been finding them to be somewhat useful. We also know of a couple of people there that are from there. So, take it however you wish. The last one here is, again, Collegium. A different location than the location of the other three weapons and items, but still useful enough.
Right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Garrison the place that recently had like a prison break?
It wasn't necessarily recent.
It was before 10 died, yeah, but...
Actually, technically, the prison that had its place broken into was actually the Huskonian prison.
Okay.
Yeah. However, the prison that you're thinking of is the Zetamax prison, which is the Garrison prison, but people haven't broken into that in the last, 20 years.
Okay. I will make sure to present these options to the rest of the party.
Fair enough. We're actually about to head out of... well, we're going to head out tomorrow, but we're actually about to head off ourselves. Yeah, we've actually got a place that we really want to go to. This place is called Bone Island. We don't know if it's actually a real place, but we've heard that, it's an entire island of just, bones from all over the entire world, eventually floated and clashed in together and stuck together. So gonna check it out. We were trying to find an arcade, but I think he was already out somewhere. So we're, again, gonna head out tomorrow.
Sounds interesting. If you find anything there, let me know.
No, we will do.
I guess, could I make, a history check, I guess? See if I've heard, the legends of Bone Island?
Based on your role from, and I'm not even kidding here, a year and a bit ago, you actually only heard legends of Bone Island as it's sort of like a rumor. You don't know anything further than that. It's just you've heard rumors of Bone Island. The main thing that you've heard of Bone Island is the theories around it, which is it is just an island in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of the largest ocean in the world, that for some reason bones seem to stick to it, and it's basically the bone equivalent of Garbage Island. Basically where dead bodies eventually pile up, get stuck together, and just basically never separate. That's the theory, anyway.
It'll definitely be interesting to hear more about it if you find it.
Well, we'll let you know.
Thank you. I believe Anarcha is off training at the current moment. You probably won't find him here.
Thanks for letting us know.
Anytime.
As you then also realise what the time is, so you head back out. You guys eventually meet up together, Aldous, Ferb, Felix, and Stan, as you guys are now sort of in the sort of main square. The main couple of questions is now what to do, where to go, and if there's anything else that you guys need to do as a team together before you do go off, or if you are doing something on the islands, since you now have multiple different pathways of possibilities to take the day.
Honestly, Felix will relay the different locations, like show the new list of items. He'll also mention where Anake's are they cousins or brothers? I forget. His
brothers. The Ushomar clansmen are mostly cousins, but Anake's are actually his 3 brothers.
Right. He'll mention that they're going in search of Bone Island.
Huh. I wonder why Pinky couldn't find them if they were already here.
Was Pinky looking for them?
Well, she said she hadn't seen them since we left the island just before the tournament ended. Well, Nanarke won the first.
Yes. Well, those are our options.
Well, I was thinking about going to Jimmy Grum to see if he could tell me anything about this ring. I think Anarche said something about him being able to see what abilities are. I think he got that sweet-ass necklace examined by him.
Alright. Well, that's something that could probably be done pretty quickly. At least getting to Jimmy Grum.
Yeah, and then don't ask him just to build a bunch of basic bullets, because the supplies he's got, he could make a far large quantity than I could make on my own.
Right. Looking at the list, what are the free new items?
I'm so glad you asked me. Thank you ever so much for asking me.
Yeah, no problem. I figured you were going to give them to me at some point, but I was kind of waiting for you to say them.
Okay. So, the first one is a sword known as the Sword of Damocles. A legendary blade that was apparently used during the War of the Legends. Said to be able to cut through anything. The second 2, one of which is yet another ring, but it is unknown as to what the ring is. It's just very nice looking ring with some kind of historic value. That's literally all that was written.
Okay, so sort of Damocles ring, nice looking.
No, ring of nice looking. And then the final one, which I actually do have here.
And all these are in Galigian?
Yeah, they're in Collegium, yeah.
Handy to have them all in one spot.
Indeed. However, as they said, it's more than likely that you'd actually have to steal it from them. I do have the other one, I'm just trying to find it.
Yeah, you're all good.
Whilst that's going on, does anyone else wish to discuss anything with the rest of the party?
Does anyone else want to do me a favor and test out one of my machines?
What do you mean by test out one of your machines?
Just sort of stand or sit in it for around an hour.
It's not very specific, but sure.
Some people say that the humming is soothing, but like a cat purring.
Fair. I have no idea what this machine does, so, what could possibly go wrong?
Don't say that.
I'm going to say that. You can't tell me what to do. DM.
Got it. Found it. It's called the Broken Key.
A bit rubbish if it's already broken. I mean,
It's just called the Broken Key. It looks like an actual key, but it's called the Broken Key. It actually says in it says its title is The Broken Key, and then it then has in brackets it doesn't actually look broken.
I imagine it's just like, since these are all written out in pencil, it's just like the broken key, and it's like kind of scribbled out a bit. It's like, that's just the title, it's not actually broken. just trails off. I imagine that appeared later because the papers are psychically linked.
Yes, yeah.
Because we're looking, the broken key. It starts writing.
just so you know.
Just so you know, not actually broken.
Or at least it doesn't look it.
Well, since these are all in the same location, well, not same general area, probably better to go for these three than it is the Grandfather Sword. And or the Oblivion Blade, which I honestly don't think we're going to get before the war, due to its location.
Yeah. Unless we could pay someone to go in and steal it.
That'd be a high price.
and a bad idea.
And I also don't know who would even have that skill set to sneak in, grab the sword, and get out.
Well, then you're lucky you know a guy that has connections to a mercenary guild.
Then who's to say they don't just take the sword for themselves?
Well, we mercs tend to go by a code, so if the price is right, they bring you the item, they get paid, nothing else is required.
Either way, it seems a little bit like a suicide mission, and I would rather not send any allies on that.
That is fair, that's fair. I just thought I'd bring up the option.
It's fair. As you can see, the Great Sword is now in Galandria. So, likely, if we do go for that, we will have to either steal it or fight for it, the usual. I doubt that we can just buy it off them.
Are you sure that going in head first after these items is a good idea? I mean, what if the items are powerful enough to eradicate us or something? That wouldn't be good.
I've gone through a lot. I'm kind of doubtful that there's much that can fully eradicate us.
True, and it sounds by it, none of it's really, can do real ranged combat, and as long as I can see them, I don't need to be close.
Indeed.
Is it settled then?
I think most likely we'll be going to Galigian after the free items.
So, just as a reminder, there are 3 items in Collegium that the brothers have stated that they recommend to look at, if not try and get your hands on. They did also state it is one of the 3 locations that they recommend to go to anyway, even if it's not for those 3 items, because there might actually be other items that you guys might find there in their location that might be more possible to get your hands on, or even ones that are equally or greater in difficulty, but just the things that they're like, hey, you could take these because these could be very useful to you. But either way, those are the main 3 that sort of caught their eyes. So let's go to Collegium for that exact purpose. Go to Glandrine to potentially fight the individual who has the Grandfather Greatsword. Go to Eden to try and take the Oblivion Blade. Or stay here and train alongside the Ushimar clansmen. Potentially even fight Lord to sort of train up and learn sort of patterns of fighting against people with different arrays of powers.
Right. My vote's for Galigian, simply because there's kind of the most we can do in that one place.
I second that.
Sounds like a plan to me. I third it.
Oh, can I attempt to memory portrait this place now again?
I thought you already had. I thought you already succeeded with your church, or was?
Oh no,
was that
I already failed.
Okay, yeah,
Was it
you
fail?
can attempt to do so.
Yes, by 1 whole point.
Yeah.
So now I remember this place.
So you'll always be able to teleport to this place as long as you can use and activate teleportation or memory portation.
Right. Well, as Anake is busy, we don't have easy teleportation just to that one. Also, Anake, I don't think it's been there, to my knowledge. So best that we find a means of transportation.
I could attempt that.
That is true. Aldous could attempt it.
Would it help if we pulled up some images on the web?
I think Aldous. I mean, that is a possibility. But I think Aldous, in his backstory, he's actually technically been to Collegium before.
Yes, I have.
Because
I think I have knowledge on Collegium.
Because it's part of like your backstory that you went to Collegium in search of understanding religions, or something.
Yeah, I went around the world to understand people and their religious fervors.
So I think you went to, because obviously you sort of born and raised, sort of lived in Iris City. Then Girison is another place that you went to. Collegium is another place that you went to.
Okay.
Have you gone to Asconia? I can't remember. Either way.
So
you'll still have to roll history to try and remember it, and then if that fails, then you'll need to still get pictures up so that you can then roll creativity.
Yeah. Are we wanting to do the machine testing before we go, or?
Just as a sort of insight to that, it will take an in-game hour for that machine.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it would take an in-game hour to go to Jimmy Grum. Oh, wow.
I do not know this place.
You cannot remember it, but you know what? It's the way in which he said it. Collegium. I don't know that place. I know a Collegium, but I don't know a Collegium. I don't know.
Don't know, mate.
Alright, well.
Is it the Sandy place?
Couldn't be
the
me.
Sandy place? I don't know. Maybe I should make a history check.
Guess it'd be a world knowledge with disadvantage for you, since I don't think
yeah,
you know.
let me. Where is world knowledge?
I think it's under wisdom.
It's under wisdom. It would be a flat roll.
Would work? Can I use World Traveler?
2 berries.
You know what, I might just look up, I'll make a little sort of tablet and look up the location, see if there are any images.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, we have the internet. We're not cavemen.
Whilst this is going on, Ferb, you can go to speak to Grum, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah, you can go do Grum. I guess if we want Stan and Felix can go test out the machine.
Stan, yeah, you do find pictures of Collegium for Aldous to have a look at.
I don't suppose. Could I use World Traveler for this?
The ability requires the wisdom to be with creativity. Do you have a perk under World Traveler that allows you to roll creativity?
No, but I will
Then,
now next time after this.
Then,
Okay, so it's another D20 plus 2. And what do I need to get? 15?
yeah.
There we go. No.
A lot of two berries at the start, huh?
Two berries.
A lot of not being smart with all this.
Yes, yeah.
Smart or wise.
So, what was it that you needed him to make you, Ferb?
Ferb is dead. Long may they rest.
Oh no.
Sorry. I needed him to just examine the ring of the Forgotten.
Oh, okay. Once you sort of go over to him and speak to him for a little bit, and you explain that, like, you know, you don't really know what the ring does and anything, he sort of asks you to sort of let him have a look.
I present the hand with the ring on it.
You know, for me to get a better judge of it, you're gonna have to remove it for me, mate.
It's gonna take the willpower to remove it, isn't it?
Yep. Disadvantage with willpower.
Disadvantage with willpower.
Now, you've got quite high willpower, so this shouldn't be a problem anyway.
Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't
Here
be.
we are. I'm waiting for the third two berries.
Two
Let's see,
berries.
alright, first roll.
Okay.
And second.
Oh,
Okay, so
Not 20, it's useless, so 16!
Okay. Yeah, you sort of go, okay, I do want to understand more of it, and he gives it to you, has a look at it. As he sort of closes his eyes, and when they open again, they begin to glow yellow. Oh. I see. So that's how they did it, eh? Now that's impressive. He then stops as his eyes widen further, as he's almost looking as if he's entranced by the ring itself. Glorious. Beautiful.
Precious, one might say.
Precious, one might say.
Grom! Earth to Grom! Hello?
You know, this piece is marvelous.
Yes,
He raises
it looks
his
very nice, but can you tell me? Oh.
He raises his other hand towards it as the ring begins to get bigger and bigger, sort of sizing itself up for one of his fingers.
Could I, roll dexterity to slap him in the face, knock him some sense into him?
Interesting choice of actions there. You can go for it.
I love that the ring had like no temptation on Felix.
There's two reasons for that. There's two reasons for that, but we won't get into those yet. So yeah, you do slap him as he just sort of like slightly shakes his head. He is really built and sturdy. As he sort of goes, ugh. Roll me Constitution.
Don't kill our main smith.
Unless I transform, it's not happening.
He punches you in the head with this big, strong hand. You get flat onto your ass. Like, he knocks you straight off of your feet. It felt like as if you just got hit by a car. As you, like, get flattened onto the ground, dust kicked up everywhere. He then just sort of, like, looks down at you. You're now dazed as he sort of drops the ring and he goes, "Ah, okay, I see. That makes sense."
I can't see. Everything's spinning.
Well, yeah, I'd assume you would, mate, considering you just tried to slap me and my immediate, response is to punch. Come on, you're okay.
Fair enough.
As he goes to give you a hand.
Thanks.
Your sort of hand clasps his as your sleeve sort of rolls down, revealing cracks on your forearm. Well, What the hell is that?
What? Nothing. You're saying things.
He pulls you back up, but he's still not letting go of your hand.
I use one of the 3 other limbs to roll the sleeve back up. Don't tell the group, please.
What have you done to yourself, mate?
It's got to do with my abilities. I can tell you the short or the long story. Which one do you prefer?
If it's personal, I don't have to hear it.
I'll just give you the gist. I've been essentially overclocking my abilities since I got them. This old body of mine just can't take it anymore. I'm ripping myself apart from the inside out.
You're a weapon user. Wait. Your abilities to transform your body, you should be turning only one part of your body into a weapon. You shouldn't have recoil like this. I've never met anyone who...
Yeah, one. I'm sure you've seen many of my fights.
You idiot.
I just can't help myself sometimes.
You're overclocking your powers because you're only supposed to turn into one weapon. And instead you're stretching yourself out, turning multiple limbs into multiple copies of your own power. Do you have any idea how deadly that is? Or, should I say, how impossible it should be for anyone else? But then again, I have heard of this kind of thing happening before, but not recoil like that. Then again, I've not seen anyone turn all parts of themselves into their weapon forms. So, you know.
Yeah,
swings and roundabouts.
Kind of why whenever you see me going into the fight, I almost give in to the bloodlust. It's actually from pain. I feel every part. It burns, but I've kind of grown to enjoy it.
Well, I won't say anything to your group. I assume that you have your own reasons as to why you withheld this information, so I will respect your privacy. Smith to customer confidentiality.
I appreciate this. So, what can you tell me about the ring?
Well, that thing is definitely cursed. It infects and infests upon someone's desires. The ring is psychically infused with something, as well as another ability. From what I can gather, it has a similar energy signature to that of those with cloning, but something more peculiar. Like as if it can't clone, but more like it's waiting for something. More like it's waiting for you, or whoever holds it or tries to wield it. He picks up the ring and gives it back to you.
I just instinctively put it back on, the same finger.
You feel that sort of that weird rush of comfort of, thank God, it's now back on me. It's now back on me. Whatever it is that it wants from you, it seems as though that it has to have a certain requirement met before it can activate. I don't know what that requirement is, but based on its deep sensations, I'd probably state that it's nothing small.
Maybe I'll come across it in the travels we're about to do.
Maybe. Anyway, if that's all you needed, I'll let you head on.
Yeah. Cheers. Oh, I'll probably come back. I need a load of bullets done, but I need to get another band.
Right, well, I'll be on the lookout for anyone like that. As he looks around over at all of the different people. Now there's a bigger line coming towards him of people wanting different things from him.
You have a good day, Jimmy.
You too. As Ferb gets back to the rest of the party, you guys have obviously sort of been discussing where to go. I think it's now pretty much clear that it's going to be Collegium that you guys head off to. Does anyone want to attempt for or do anything before heading off?
Can I ask if you know I have telepathy?
Yes, yeah.
I'm assuming people have. I'm assuming someone in our party has been there before, right? Besides me.
Stan, have you ever been to Collegium? I don't know if you have. Because I know Ferb hasn't, and based on that terrible roll, Felix definitely hasn't.
We've just been having all this go through, like, essentially Google Maps.
Still not familiar. Still can't. No, it's not increasing the creative fluids.
Are you sure he hasn't misspelled the name and is just searching up mythological places?
Well, Stan doesn't remember going to Collegium.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
in
never mind
that case, then no.
Because I realized I could have used memory editor. I think because I can. Would that allow me to read people's memories or like almost like exist?
You can read people's memories. You can even copy them and place them into your own mind. But again, if none of them have been to that place, that already rules it out. Considering.
I guess we could ask if anyone on this island has been there, and then you could do that.
You then just hear sort of a voice going, "Well, actually, I've been to Collegium."
Oh.
Turn around to see who.
It's Lord.
Of course it is.
Oh.
Hey, Mr. Lord. How you doing?
That's weird. If you're going to give me a Mr. title, you might as well just call me Mr. Ushima, but... anyway. Yes, I actually do have history there. I went there when I first started studying animatology, so I actually know the place pretty well. Although, that was 50 plus years ago, so my memory might not be what it used to be, but I could definitely get you back there if you wanted to.
It would be appreciated.
That's only helping out the rest of you. Besides, I already found out exactly everything that I need for this war, and I'm already getting plenty from all of you. Anyway, right, yes. How do I remember? Yes.
If they make a history check, they get 2 berries.
Right.
It's a part of the land that actually fell off into the sea.
I normally would require something to give me a hand with this, but actually, I could do... there we go. Okay. Right. You're going to have to all place your hands on me, since I need to teleport myself there and bring all of you with me.
Alright.
Right.
We'll have our hands on them. We're in the circle singing by
Verb hesitates first before putting a hand on with one of the fresher limbs.
Now I will just let all of you know that you can trust me. No matter how much you believe otherwise, Mr. Fatigue and Aldous.
I mean, frankly, I have no choice but to.
That's the spirit. As the next thing that you know, the background behind you has suddenly changed, as you are sort of in like a sort of a lovely sort of outdoorsy location, sort of very sort of woodsy. Loads of sort of like houses and sort of buildings made out of this strange white quartz. You're standing just outside of this massive metal and white quartz building that looks almost like a gigantic vault with a huge door, like with a double door open, revealing like this gorgeous light coming in from the outside. Coming out from the inside of the facility, this actual place, there are people walking on these beautiful cobblestone steps and everything like that. It's a weird. It almost looks like a fantasy land, to be honest. People are also wearing all sorts of different types of clothing, but most of the clothing is relatively quite. It's relatively quite sort of medieval looking, sort of like baggy, sort of almost like bag like clothing as well, or special robes that again sort of look more sort of more fantasy or more ancient traditional rather than actually sort of more modernistic. That is all. I will be getting going. Although obviously if you're going to need me, I guess I could stick around for a little bit longer.
No, I think I can get us home now.
Very well.
It's fully up to you.
By the way, Aldous, although that it is not advised that you use your powers to alter that ring's ability composition, you do realize that you could technically use it to transport yourself to Anarche, right?
Do not want to be an annoyance to him. He's probably doing something quite important.
That's absolutely valid. He's currently still doing one of his trials. Anyway, take care. As he just disappears.
It flashes to what Nake's doing. He's just sitting on like a couch eating popcorn.
No, he's eating muffins, he's trying to get the perfect muffin again.
He's just sitting there watching loads and loads of movies, whilst teddy bear with boxing gloves is sat on his lap whilst he's also eating a muffin.
He's in the midst of like one of his favorite sitcoms.
None of you are going to get that reference except from one, and I'm so upset about it. Moving on.
Be upset.
Can I ask, am I, amalgamated to everything?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
No. But you can be if you want to via rolls, but you'll have to tell me which ones that you're amalgamating to.
I'm going to amalgamate to my main stone.
Okay.
Okay. My sub-stone. Okay.
I'm assuming this is the body count catalyzation one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, right.
And each of my fingers count as different ones?
They count as separate ones, yes.
Okay, let me see, do I have enough? I think I can.
Because I think, isn't it the amount that you can do is 4 at a time? 4
5.
separate power sources? Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, you definitely don't have enough.
Then I will do a body count to teleportation.
Okay.
Pyrokinesis.
Okay. I don't think that's enough because I think it's 25 minimum.
Is it? Give me a second.
No,
it's 20.
Oh, is it 20? Okay.
And then
two.
and one more is telepathy.
Okay.
Yep. There we go. So I'm now passively, slightly hovering off the ground.
As you sort of standing outside here, sort of looking in, you can sort of see it's like a massive sort of like white light, sort of white walled, white floored, white ceiling facility, like a massive shopping centre with all sorts of different things. You can actually see people working on forging, like blacksmiths. You can see people working sort of like tailoring, all sorts of different things. Massive stairs leading up and down. Basically, it looks like a gigantic sort of mall, like a huge shopping centre, inside of a very large sort of double door vault.
Cool.
Interesting.
Where shall we start?
So it was the broken key,
The key,
the
the
ring,
ring, and
the sword.
Of Damocles.
What about the sword?
Why don't
Or
we
no,
start
perhaps we
with
should
the
leave that for last. In case something does happen.
Yeah. maybe toss for the ring and the key, the coin.
Do you have a coin to toss?
Let me check my pockets. Oh, hey, a bottle cap. Well, let's do.
I guess. Go ahead. The D2.
Alright, so 1 for the key, 2
For the ring.
bottom for the key, top for the ring. Looks like we're going off the key.
Okay.
Now, the only real question that's buzzing around people's heads is where to look first for a key called the Broken Key.
Good ask.
Is there a tourist map somewhere?
There is actually a couple of signposts in the middle of this giant shopping centre.
I'm gonna look it up on the internet.
We could check locksmiths. Maybe they have a broken key. Sorry, I'll just see myself out.
I just imagine that all three of them just turn their heads slowly, look at you like with the most aggressive faces, and then just back to whatever they were doing.
I guess I will go around the stands asking for information.
Can I?
We only have one with us. He's right there.
The shop stands.
The kiosks, the placement, you know what? Snaps. Let's get a new one.
This one's broken.
Yeah, but oops, I broke this one.
Just turn him into a pepper shaker and just keep twisting the head until stuff comes out.
Either way, I'll go asking for any information on locations. So I'll do it for all, but I know we're after the key specifically.
Okay, so Phoenix is going off to do that. Stan is going to look it up on his phone GPS thing. Aldous and Ferb, what are you going to do?
Can I attempt the user can hear thoughts of those around them?
You can. You can roll for it and see.
And just kind of listen in for anything broken or key related. It succeeds.
I mean, I might suggest that you come with me since I'm going to be asking those things. So.
Oh, okay. Then I'll come with him, but still do that. So now it's just like so much sounds now. It's like animate stones and also just people's voices entering my mind.
We'll come back to that in a second. Ferb, what about you?
Everyone's already got all the bases covered. I think I'll just look for some.
Go get lunch.
I mean, you could look at the signpost to figure out roughly where things are.
Yeah, I guess I can do that. See where specifically we are on the island.
Felix, you go off and start speaking with. You go off to the blacksmith area first, as there are 3 people behind there, working. One of which is at this main glass desk, which is showing and revealing all these lovely different chunks of armor, weapons, all sorts of stuff in these glass stands. As behind him are 2 people working on some stuff, metalworking and so on and so forth. So he goes, "Hello, how can I help you today?"
We're actually looking for a couple of items that we heard were in this country. The Sword of Damocles, the Broken Key, and looks at a ring, nice looking.
Sorry, is that a shopping list, my dear man? Because
essentially,
I have to tell you, those 3 items, well, I actually don't know what the third one is, but those 2 first items, I actually know exactly what those are. Those are tourist attractions from our Grand Vault, you see. It's a tourist attraction where people can go to this large museum of all sorts of things placed there in the ancient locations. They are priceless artifacts of our history, which we prize ourselves on quite highly. Despite this, however, they're not exactly easily for sale.
I can imagine so.
However, your armor is very beautifully made, might I say myself.
Thank you. It's made by one Jimmy Grum.
Oh, I know that name. It's been quite some time, but Jimmy Grum and I go way back. You see, my master, who originally took over this place before me, he and I were apprentices together, Jimmy and I. However, after he had finished his training about some 40 years ago, he decided to leave and go to Iris City. I haven't heard from him in such a long time. That old rapscallion him. Although, now that I think about it, he's probably not even aged a day. The beauty and the loves of Asconians. Anyway, so, yes. Yes, of course he's built you something glorious. It is grand marksmanship and craftsmanship, if ever I saw one. Those engravings are delightful.
That they are. He's got quite the talent.
Indeed he has. Now, is there anything particular that I can help you with?
Well, you've already helped a lot with telling us where those are. I suppose we could look at your wares. What might you suggest?
Very well. Is your friend okay? Aldous, roll me a willpower.
He gets like that.
Yeah, just casually rolling around the floor screaming, "Oh, the noise. Oh god, the noise."
Oh, okay.
No, he's okay.
It is quite stunning at first that I hear all these voices, but eventually you sort of push them away and go, no, I've had to deal with this before, it's just that now it's in a language I understand. If anything, this is easier. As you sort of hear a few different voices and stuff. You don't necessarily hear anything about the broken key except from Felix and this individual talking about it. Sort of, you don't really hear anyone else thinking about it. You hear a few different thoughts going on here, there, and everywhere, but nothing specific to the broken key. Despite this, the only things that you hear is from both what they're saying and what they're thinking.
Okay. So, what I'm hearing is that the broken key is just a display item. Then
it's something that is in basic. So it must be must be an interesting item. Considering one of the main things that you actually hear in this guy's head is, I wonder why he's looking for that. Oh well, I'll just let him know that it's nothing that people buy. Perhaps this is just a common mistake. That's about all you sort of hear from him. But is
there? Assuming that, is there any like foam replica versions of it? You know, like the ones that look exactly the same, but say like made in China or made in Palladium?
No, because what he was basically saying was it wouldn't be here because that this is sort of more of a shop or sort of thing. But further in, somewhere in this facility, is actually the sort of the Grand Museum of all of the different things, as it's known as the Great Vault. And it's sort of basically the Historian Guild find these items, buy these items from people, these items of history, and they basically display them for people to come and have a look at them. Because it is like their grand collection. They're the equivalent of the collector, basically, the Historian's Guild, except from nowhere near as evil. But yeah, so basically what you're hearing is it does exist. From what he's hearing, he is quite confused as to why that you're looking for it. But it's not necessarily, you're not exactly sure as to why he's curious as to why you're looking for it. So it's clear that it's clearly obvious that it does exist, and it's clearly obvious that he's not lying about that it is in that museum. So at least those two things have been narrowed down for you. But it still is you are still unsure as to what exactly it is or what it does.
I suppose I don't yet have a helmet. Do you perhaps have any headgear you might recommend?
I'm surprised that if you could afford something from Jimmy Grum, that you would even be asking me. But, nevertheless, we have all sorts of different helmets. What exactly particularly are you looking for? Something with a little bit more oomph, or something more protective whilst also having some kind of special unique ability, or are you just looking for protection in general?
Just general protection. I'm a decently sturdy man myself. It takes a lot to take me down, but The more protection, the better.
We have all sorts of helmets, sir. There isn't exactly anything that I can think of particularly for yourself. Perhaps something relatively sturdy, similar to the make of this. Perhaps something made out of titanium or iron.
Could definitely be good.
Okay, well, I could perhaps get you something plated. Perhaps I could even take the lenses from your glasses as well and make them into a piece in the helmet. So then you wouldn't be wearing the glasses inside of the helmet. Rather, you'd be wearing them as they are part of the helmet.
Sounds good. Well, of course, does Felix have extra pairs of glasses?
I think you actually stated one time as a joke he has multiple pairs, but they're always stored in locations that he can get if he ever feels it's necessary. Like, I think we actually made a joke where he actually has loads of pairs at home and then a few pairs in an Arcade's Pocket Dimension. So, I mean...
Well, he has access to neither of those places.
Not right now, but obviously... You know, you could always give him the glasses now, or of course come back later, you know, as and when you might have, you know, access to it.
Right, well, I don't have a extra pair on me at the moment.
Of course.
So, I might come back to you with that, or I might just give you my prescription.
Very well, sir, very well. We do also have an optician's here.
Okay.
Meanwhile, we go back to Ferb and Stan. Stan, you've been using your device. What exactly have you been particularly looking for again?
This, the lore. What is the deepest lore behind this key?
So far of what you can find out about the lore is apparently, according to ancient legends, the device known as the Broken Key was what had or harbored the power to open skies. People are unsure exactly of what that particularly means, but the Broken Key cannot open particular doors, but instead can open skies.
Is it some kind of technology I'm told you, or is it just some mystic artifact?
People believe it to be some kind of mystical artifact created by none other than a god of space himself, known as Animar. Animar being the god of space and being, believed to be the first creature that actually conjured up the deep depths of space and physical manifestation of reality, alongside then the gods of physics and gravity and matter that allowed them to create physical being and objects. Later, reality would be then birthed and given life via the god of biology and souls, as well as death and mortality. It is believed that this key holds the power to be able to tear open the sky, and in what is to be believed, that could potentially be either the equivalent of opening doors of space, or being able to maybe bridge two places together. In other words, it's either being able to open doors in mid-air or being able to literally tear open the sky, but they're not entirely sure, as it is rarely sort of mentioned or wielded, but it is led to believe that this is an artifact that was either as old as the Ongoers era, or an artifact that was at the very least in its earliest age era, or at the latest that they've been able to find it back to, is the era of the gods, which is the first 20 years ever since powers became a thing, over 110 years ago.
So kind of like the Bifrost.
By technicality, you could argue that it could be like the Bifrost, but that's what the lore, the deep lore, is thinking that it is. This is what Stan is finding out on his own.
I guess I'm gonna go ahead with the whole tourist route and look for the attraction.
You eventually go up to Ferb, who's been looking at the signposts. You've been finding all the different signposts of the food court, the forgery, tailoring, optician, pharmacy, general store, grocery store, clothing store. You've been able to find then the other thing known as the Grand Vault, and then in brackets Museum of the Ages. all sorts. And as you sort of look at that and you sort of outwardly state those words, Museum of the Ages, you then suddenly, not necessarily made jump by the sudden appearance, but definitely sort of like only just realise that Stan is now standing next to you.
There's a lot of places really squished into the. Oh, Stan!
Are we gonna find this key or?
Yeah, I guess we could try the Museum of Ages. That sounds like a place you would put like a historical artifact, if that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's it. Should we get the others and go in, or just go by ourselves and hope they follow?
Take longer to find them. Let's just carry on.
I want to point out, just both of you roll me a perception check real quick.
I believe, isn't it just further into like the shopping hall?
Yeah, it's really not that far. Yeah.
To be fair, I can probably hear this in range.
You absolutely can hear their thoughts in range. But I just want to... Yeah, by the way, you say, it'd be easier to find them in almost a comedic value of Ferb not seeing them, but Stan literally seeing them out of his peripheral when he says this. They are like 10 meters away from you at best.
I'm sure they'll follow us.
You hear,
okay.
you then hear the thoughts of Stan just going, I'm sure they'll follow us, but maybe if I can find this artifact first.
Oh, Felix, I think they're going in. They found what the artifacts are.
Alright, well, it was lovely meeting you. I'll be sure to come back for possibly a helmet.
Of course.
Future.
Don't forget to come back. I would very much like to see and hear furthermore of your different interesting ideas of your forging ideologies. Whatever you might want to build or create, I shall attempt to do so along with the rest of my people here.
Of course, of course.
Since
Aldous, I'm just going to say your telepathy sort of like fizzles out as you're sort of continuing to walk around.
do you think he could hear one more thing before it fizzles out?
Well, it's just literally once they sort of say goodbye, sort of again without continuously rolling for it, it just sort of dissipates.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say, as Ferb starts following Stan before those two move, he will have thought to himself, "I hope Dan didn't see what was under my sleeve," but he will not think anything else about it and just continue on.
I'll say the very least, Aldous, you at least hear that before it disappears. As suddenly now the only thing that you can really actually hear right now is just generic chatter and people walking around this place.
And Animite.
I mean, you can't really hear that much Animite here at the moment.
No, just the ones I have on me.
Oh yeah, but as I said,
Since I assume we're heading roughly all in the same direction, we'll just head to the vault.
Yep. As first, Stan and Ferb, you get there as you're sort of like, as you're standing there, they're sort of, ushering you in, as it's a free museum to check out the glorious artifacts that the Historian Guild has found. All of the members of staff there are wearing these incredibly amazing sort of dresses and these robes that are beautifully embellished with white, light blues, silver, all sorts of incredible sort of like pure-looking colours. As you go through, they then say that there are different things like the ancient weapons, on-goer pieces of technology, blood-infused pieces of weaponry, blood-infused technology, all things as well as artifacts wielded by people to be believed to be of the level of gods, and so on and so forth. As you can go into any of the sort of sections that you wish, looking through them and so on and so forth. There's also based on era and period of which they were used and stuff. But sort of as you're sort of given that where do you guys want to go first?
I mean, Felix would like to...
Whoa. Stan and Ferb.
That's fair.
Probably start at like the oldest section and going forward. Ferb will say to Stan.
I mean, I know roughly, I guess, the background information, so wherever it's most likely to be.
Okay, I'm going to say roll me intelligence then, Stan. And if you have it, ingenuity, actually. There you go. You take a gander and take a guess as to roughly where you feel like it could be, so you sort of head off in that direction. You eventually sort of get to a place of like the War of the Gods, sort of the era of the Gods, as they sort of just go, oh, and in this particular time there were people believed to have powerful abilities, known as the First of the Five. 5 individuals who wielded powers that have never before seen to be used. Wielded powers such as, even though that they had anomalous capabilities, such as having 2 abilities, despite this, their superpowers went even beyond that, holding and harboring unique attributes that seemed to allow them complete dominion over whatever it was. For instance, Ra's power, of both being a phoenix and fire-wielding user, seemed to have the ability of something known as the Flames of Passion. Fires that could control and alter people's own inhibitions, passions, hatreds, and love for one another. And as it just sort of like blurs back into the background noise, you eventually find different artifacts, as it even states in brackets replicas as seen from X, Y, and Z, stuff like this. But you actually see like then there's also tags to state like this is the real thing. As you sort of walk up to a few display cases, I want both of you to roll me a perception check. $23 from Ferb. 13 from Stan. So Ferb, you find it first as you're sort of walking around. You eventually find it, the broken key. And it actually does look kind of like a key.
Huh.
As you see it,
it's just a key.
It looks very much like an old sort of, very old key. But the material that it seems to be made out of is sort of like a deep, dark sort of greyish metal with sort of almost like reflective purple hints and flakes throughout its sort of metallic outer layers.
Is there a plaque like saying anything about it?
It does say the broken key. An ancient object that is yet to be discovered as to whether or not this item was older than the period of which that it was believed to be found. The object known as the broken key had supposed ability of, in speech marks at this point, ability to open the sky. Has not been used or wielded thus far in the last 50 to 60 years. However, it is led to believe that this object opens the sky itself, allowing one to open or bridge gaps between the distance between one location that they're standing in and another location somewhere else by opening up the air between the 2 locations.
Oh, you could use this to travel to the moon! I think.
Right. Do you think this thing is actually real? I mean,
it does say with underlined sort of like a little tag that does say real.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a tag right there.
Why would they leave something like this just lying?
I mean, I want to point out all objects are behind what seems to be very sort of interesting sort of displays. They're like sort of bolted into the wall with very thick metal, and then they are sort of floating or standing inside of these cases upright. But the only reason that you can see this is because it's behind very thick glass.
I'm going to roll an intelligence.
I'm going to use my sonic screwdriver to kind of check out the security systems.
Okay, I got a 9.
What's your intelligence for?
Ferb just blurts out, "Can you touch this and just see what it's made of?"
You immediately have someone in a robe just walk up to you. "Excuse me, sir. Can I help the two of you?"
Yes, I want to know what this glass is made of.
"Why do you need to know what it's made of, sir?"
I don't know. It looks like it would be good for triple glazing in my home.
"Roll me a deceit."
A very poor deceit.
That's why it's not a disadvantage or an advantage, considering it's relatively... Oh, okay.
21!
Well, in that case, sir, I could actually forward you to the current location of our manager, who actually is the one who thought that this was a good idea. We do still have a very fascinating set of contracts with the people who actually built this glass. If you follow me, I can talk to you about it in much greater detail.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you Stan, just keep an eye on the wee thing so we can learn more about it later. As he turns to him and winks.
I'm gonna have to ask you to roll me.
Sleight of hand.
I'm gonna have to say finesse with this one, yeah. Or stealth. You know what? Yeah, stealth. Stealth. I'm gonna say stealth.
Okay. Is it 15 of that?
You turn around and it's like, "Oh yeah, just checking out," and then you just wink, and then that's it. And he doesn't notice it because again, you sort of back turn towards him, but he's like, it's weird. Anyway, yes, follow me. And he almost like as if he just forgets the whole reason as to why he came over to you. Whilst this is going on, I guess Stan, roll for whatever it is that you need to roll to scan it.
Wow.
It doesn't work as it goes, and it just doesn't do anything after that.
My rolls have been terrible for like sessions now.
For the last 3 sessions, your rolls have been hot garbage.
I think I must apologize. I think I took the good rolls there.
As Felix and Aldous, you guys are now entered into this, and you also have a load of different possibilities of old and new, ancient ongoer tech, blood transfused tech, animatology, old items and weapons and stuff like that throughout the ages. Where are you sort of going first?
So, Aldous, I'm going to see if I can find and get like a meeting with the head of this museum. Because I'd rather not have to steal anything, you know.
No, I understand.
If you want to just look around for said items, or if you want to tag along with me, it's up to you.
I think I shall. I'll attempt to find the security room, so at least we know what they have, just in case.
Alright. Sounds good. Felix will...
Both roll investigation.
No, because, Aldous has, probably seen at least one heist movie in his life.
Yeah, surely he has. Anyway, both of you roll me investigation.
Oh, great. 1d20 plus 2. Oh! Dang.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Well, fair. At least you did well, but I was about like, where did you think that was going to go, Sam?
I'm specifically just looking for like a staff member to like see if they can get me to a possible meeting with the head of this vault/museum.
Okay, we'll go to Aldous first. Aldous, you sort of go around for a bit. You're barely paying attention to any of the pieces because, again, you're sort of more looking for the security door. You eventually find the door to security. It is closed.
Using telepathy, can I see if there's anyone in there? Actually, no, using just biological manipulation, can I sense life in there?
Roll for it.
Okay, just need to get a...
Not natural one.
Oh!
That's the opposite of
The opposite, yeah!
What's your range? It's 60 meters, isn't it?
Yep.
You sense all of the separate biological life. Obviously, you can't really determine the difference between any of it, but you at least sense that there are 3 life forms inside of the place, inside of that security door. Or behind the security door, sorry, more specifically. However, something else that you start noticing is a faint noise. It's almost like it's almost like a hum that you've not really noticed until just now. Roll me a wisdom. I guess is it perception that you roll with your thing?
For what?
Because I know it's willpower or something else. What was the other one?
Oh, it was like nerve, I think.
It's not nerve, is it? No, it is wisdom. Yeah, it's perception. Yeah.
Wait, you got for what though? For what power are you talking about?
No, it's not a power. It's your animite thing. Your animite sense.
Oh, it is nerve to knock. Is this to not be?
No, it's to sense it, to like sort of focus on it.
Can I just roll apostle then?
No, this is more like you're trying to see if you're perceiving anything through it.
No.
Okay. Yeah, at first you think that you feel a hum of animite, but it might just be like the background noise of this place. Anyway, yeah, okay. You sense 3 life forms in there.
Is there any like chairs nearby?
There's a couple of benches.
Okay. Anyone with like a back?
I mean, well, the benches have they have like backrests here.
Okay. Can I essentially go to sit down on them and like kind of sit back and then attempt to do what do you call it? Where I essentially spread myself out using my mind. Telepathic projection.
Oh, you mean basically leave your body sort of thing, like astral projection? Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, there we go. I will astrally project.
Okay.
And carefully poke my head through the door to take a look around.
Yeah, you pass your body through as you sort of look in, placed with loads of security cams, sort of like footage all over these, like nearly like a dozen monitors. These 3 guys just sort of like sort of talking to each other, have a little bit of witty banter. One of them is sort of like he's saying, "Oh yeah, I've now got to head out. So it turns out that some odd fellas have been coming in here recently, but." Now we got some of these weird individuals. I don't know. Boss hasn't been exactly clear on them, but apparently we got another one of them deals coming in where they want to buy something. I thought the whole point of this place was supposed to be, that we wouldn't be giving away the history that they found, but money is money, as the 2 of them go, "Ha ha! Money is money. You guys are idiots." As he begins walking towards the door, as he literally walks through you, opens the door, or as he's about to open the door, he goes, "Say, fellas, have you ever noticed something weird about this door?" As they both turn and go, "What do you mean?" "I mean, it just keeps jamming." "Ah, there we go, got it. Yeah, there's a knack to it, my fella." As he just opens the door and walks out.
Okay. Can I take a look at the cameras then, where they all are?
Yeah. You see them all around. There's one at the entrance to the door, and a couple of others sort of like near the entrance, and then a few sort of spotted around all over the place. You actually see Stan in one of the hallways, and you see Felix just sort of walking around. There's a few other just sort of other individuals and civilians just sort of like having a chat and looking at it, reading it. There's, from what you've gathered, about 4 members of security out and about on these monitors. And then there's also about 4 or 6 individuals that look like as if they're actually working here. After that, there's it's not a large amount, but it is still relatively in the tens or above of other individuals, civilians that are not part of your party, members of staff or security that you can so far see.
Okay. Can I attempt to send? Can I still message people with this?
You can't message people with this. No, not unless if you.
No, like I mean, telepathically communicate with someone to a chosen person. I mean.
No, you'd actually have to be have your astral form attached to them.
Oh, okay. I think I will go back to my body then and attempt to find Felix again because I have a plan.
Okay.
If worst case scenario, I mean, we have a plan. I think. I guess it'd be Plan C.
You'll need to roll mental link for this one.
Okay.
Which I believe is at highest. I think is only a 15.
Yep. So I just have to again not get a. Yep.
Yeah. You start sort of searching out until eventually you do find Felix's mind. As Felix, you're about to sort of get to a door where it says manager's office.
Okay.
And as you're
Can you hear me?
as you're about to knock on the door, you then hear Aldous.
Hello, come in. Can you hear me? Over.
Do I have to speak out loud for this, or is this like an in-mind thing?
I'm going to say roll intelligence.
Wait, do you say that in your mind?
I mean, that would be a thought that passes through his head, but
I mean, don't worry. You could just say it. You don't have to say it out loud.
I'm going to say you're still going to have to roll the intelligence check. Yeah.
Yeah. 10.
You think to yourself, do I have to speak this? As you sort of just going. You just the first word that comes out of your mouth is Aldous. As you then think, can I hear Aldous in my head? And that's then when Aldous, you inform him that, don't worry, we can hear each other without actually you having to say anything out loud.
What's up, Aldous?
I'm inside the security room,
Okay.
and I have.
Don't
not
do
worry,
anything brisk.
They can't see me.
Well,
And I have an idea. Should we be unable to acquire it in a legal manner?
Alright, well. First, let me try the legal manner.
No, I mean this is the worst case scenario. I quite hope that we don't have to use this one,
Right, okay.
but just in case.
Well, I'm at the manager's door, so I'm going to,
Do you mind if I?
Sure, why not?
Or are you sure?
Do what you think is best.
Okay. You can tell me after you're done, and I'll just
Okay.
shoot out.
Felix will go to knock on the door.
okay. Aldous, you're no longer connected through mental link. Your telepathic ability sort of shut off once you disabled the link. Felix, you go to knock on the door. As the door eventually opens, as you just see this guy, he's dressed in these sort of robes, and he just says, yes, can I help you? Sorry, sir, I'm afraid that you're not going to be able to sort of come and see me today. Oh. You're not who I thought you were going to be.
I don't know who you thought you were, or who you were expecting.
Sorry, I just... You looked a little similar to someone that I just had to recently speak to. Although you don't have the... Never mind. Anyway, what can I do for you?
Might I have a private meeting with you about possibly acquiring some of your artifacts? I know. My only intention is to borrow them for a time. I can explain it more in private.
Look, I already have a discussion with another customer who is currently asking me something that is not against our policies. if you could potentially just tell whoever it is, your boss, whoever's been telling you to do this, look, I don't care what your money worth is, I know that your people, your kind, whatever you want to call it, don't exactly give artifacts back.
What if I could offer you the possibility of acquiring an animite tail?
Roll me a... Is this a deceit, or is this a persuasion?
Oh no, this is persuasion.
Roll me a persuasion.
Okay. 11.
You must be joking. There's no way that that's possible. I mean, there's only a few of them in existence. We don't... Or at least this sector doesn't even have one of them. And you're saying that you can give us one. Wait a minute. What particular one would you be giving us?
Do I remember what ones were given to Eden by Anake?
I don't even know if I can remember the ones that were given to Anake.
One was the location one, I believe.
Oh, yes, the one of the world, yeah. So the one of the universe. The Book of the Universe.
The Book of the Universe is one that I have been in the possession of in the past. Again, I can explain it to you if you want a more private, instead of me standing here in the door.
Give me 1 minute. He then turns around. I'm sorry, sir, you're going to have to leave the premises. I have a much more important matter to attend. As you just see, Ferb is just sort of like sitting down on this like really comfy sofa, just eating a biscuit. Just looks over.
What? Oh, sure. Should we arrange another meeting then?
Yes. Come back later. As he sort of like starts pushing you out of the door. Come on in, sir. What was your name again?
Felix Fatigue.
Mr. Fatigue. Come, take a seat with me. Perhaps we can hash all of this out and actually get to the bottom of this thing. As he then closes the door behind the two of you. As we now come back to Stan. Ferb, you've now gone over to where Stan is.
Hey. So, Felix is in with the manager. So...
Okay. Why?
Did I catch any of the conversation he was having?
Yeah, all up until the point that he shut the door.
Alright. He's, planning on giving, as he... I'm gonna roll a stealth to make sure no one else could hear this.
Okay. $15, yeah, okay. You stealthily tell him.
He's gonna try and convince the manager to give us this item in exchange for one of the animite tomes.
Not stupid.
If it works, hey, no skin off our nose.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna try and scan this again.
Roll for it whilst that's going on. Aldous, we come back to you. So again, obviously you've seen in there a guy left. You then mental linked, went back into your body, mental linked with Felix. You're now sort of just your telepathic abilities just deactivated. What do you want to do now as you're still sitting on the bench?
I guess I might find take a way to see where the hell this actual item is that we're come here to get.
Just sort of have a look around or something?
Or look for the signs for the broken key so that the plan can work if all else fails.
What do you want to do? Do you want to use telepathy again, or do you just want to, walk around and have a look?
I might just use telepathy and just remain sitting on this bench.
Okay. Roll for
it. Succeeds, I think.
So Stan, whilst you're then using your scanner, you are sort of picking up some very strange readings that may very well be technological or animatological, or even just made up gobbledygook. You're not entirely too sure, because this device is not giving you the greatest of readings right now. It's sort of going a little on the fritz, out of whack, sort of like going all... It sounds like its sonic frequency is sort of going up and down and being a bit warbly.
Okay. Can I, like, trying to read the, because does it look like this case opened or something?
You're not entirely sure without giving it a good old tech check, which you can either roll tech knowledge, investigation, or just roll tech.
Yeah, I'll just roll tech.
Since you are a technician.
Tech man. Can I get a roll above 10? Cool.
I mean, hey, you got an 8, which means that you got an 18 at least.
18 is reasonable, I guess.
You check over it, and it's not. It doesn't exactly look like as if it's got any like hinges to open up. It doesn't even look like there's any gaps for even air to get inside of this. But it might very well have some kind of like hidden pins or even hidden objects that open up this thing, maybe from the top or the bottom, where maybe it opens it up and it just slides the whole pane of glass down, maybe. You're not entirely too sure, but those are your best guesses by looking at it the way that you are without basically touching it. Meanwhile, with Aldous, you are sort of like scanning through the minds of people, reading their minds, overhearing a lot of chatter, and two things sort of like go into your mind. And I'm going to say, which would you be more looking for? Anything that would be potentially off topic but potentially useful for the team, or on topic and more specific to what you're looking for?
Right, on topic.
Okay. In that case, you hear in the minds of two individuals that you are relatively familiar with, but you very rarely ever hear their voices, but you've just recently familiarized their inner voices now, as you hear Stan's mind going, what exactly is this thing? How would we open it up and get the broken key without causing too much of a fuss?
Okay, then can I go towards him as my astral self?
You then have to roll again to become your astral self again.
That's what I rolled for before.
Oh, because you just said that you were reading everyone's minds, so you'll have to roll again to go into astral form. Because you can't read multiple minds whilst in your astral form.
Well.
So you leave your body again and sort of go over towards where it is. I want to point out something very fascinating, is that like some of the sort of thing. Are you just going around like normal, or are you trying to just pass through stuff?
I probably wouldn't pass through many things because, you know, security. There's probably some kind of blood transfused doors now and stuff.
Okay.
And walls to stop people, you know, teleporting in and out.
As you sort of like try and avoid things, you eventually get over to where Stan and Ferb are.
If you see Ferb, he's just fiddling with the eye ring.
Can I then attempt to see, because he said something about his arm earlier. Can I see if it was like a horrible looking tattoo? Or something like that?
I mean, there's nothing that you can see on the surface of him.
Can I intangibly look through his sleeve?
You can if you want to get sort of closer to him and sort of like pass your ghostly face through his clothing to sort of look at his arms.
Yeah.
Sort of no-clip your face into his arm.
Yeah, at this point I'm essentially like a hologram.
Yeah.
No one can see or hear.
Yeah. It's more like a hologram to yourself. Like, you're sort of ghosting. As you sort of do this, you sort of do look at his arm, He sort of moves his arm. Your head and your eyes sort of like overlap. But before you do, you sort of see that there are some cracks in his arm, like actual like burns, as well as actual like cracks, like in his skin, in his flesh. And you sort of see that on his arm, and suddenly your face touches, like your actual astral face touches his arm as he sort of moves his arm around, and you suddenly sort of feel like this very weird, deep, dark feeling through your body. Roll me willpower.
Oh no.
You shouldn't have tempted fate.
Oh no!
As you suddenly feel yourself disappear into this dark depths of blackness. And suddenly,
Roll for new character sound.
5 eyes appear out of the darkness, green, glowing eyes, as they stare at you, and you hear a voice.
What gives you the right to seek his mind?
What?
What gives you the right to seek his mind?
No, he just says, no, that's kind of what his response is. Because, no offense, but he wasn't expecting something, H.P. Lovecraft from walking.
You trying to read
at someone's arm.
Ferv's mind?
Yep.
I mean, he wasn't even trying to go into Ferb, he's just looking at his arm.
You must understand that this is ours. We will protect him until he is forgotten.
Who are you?
That is of none of your concern.
Don't you just love it when curses look after you and they don't harm you in any way?
I don't suppose. Can I attempt to read him? To read this being's mind?
Roll for it.
It's kind of times like these I wish I had a bit more like, persuasion. Given that I'm the only one going the diplomatic route, and you guys are reading minds and thinking about stealing.
As you try to read into this thing, you suddenly see this darkness sort of disappear from this thing, sort of like almost like light appearing, just sort of a flash of it. As you see like a large sort of amount of tendrils and tentacles suddenly shrink down as this thing just sort of almost looks like a being worth of like 5 humanoids smushed into one. As it then just says,
You wish to read my mind? Well, let's look into the depths together.
As you suddenly see like a massive amount of this blackness wash over you, as you are now suddenly in a different place. You're looking around, and it's gloriously bright and golden. As you suddenly realize that you're in Matrata. As suddenly someone walks into this lab with strange sort of wings on their back, light wings, as they walk over to this individual who's hunched over this lab, as they're hunched over on this desk. And they are awoken by this individual with wings. Hey, Professor! Time to get up. Did you finish it? Yes, my dear boy. I have indeed finished it. Along with the mind transferal I was able to complete last week, I have now finished it. A specially designed set of artifacts that the world has never seen before. But I will need a test subject, so I need him. Find me the boy. But sir, if we do that, he might not be the best candidate. Find him. I must use him. This is the forwarding of science. You then flash over to an individual who is now sort of chained up in this room with these special strange bindings on their hands and legs. This individual screaming, "No! Where am I?" As the door opens and the scientist walks out. "Now, my lad." No, it isn't.
Oh.
"Now, my lad, we need something of yours. But of course, we understand that your powers are very useful. We're trying to find a way to further your ability of cloning. But we need something a little bit more than just basic duplication and multiplication. So, my powers infused into yours will create something glorious. But we'll need your blood, and potentially even your powers, to do so." "I'll give you blood, just please don't kill me." "Oh, my dear lad, killing you is the only way that this will work." "What? I don't want to die!" "Oh, but you will. Many times over before we finally crack the secrets of your abilities." And you are suddenly flashed to this man killing him.
I don't suppose, can I ask, do I feel like I know where I am right now? Considering you said it's in Matrata.
You have not seen this place in Matrata, but you at least know it is in Matrata. But
do you know where?
You don't know exactly where, no.
So I'm just going to attempt to memorize this place for memory portation.
No. So as this keeps going on and on, you see him die in many different ways. But as he dies, his body sort of creates another version of his body as he's dying, and that version of him is still chained into one of the two chains. At some point, he's decapitated, melted, burned alive, everything. And then at one point, when he's finally sort of exhausted and he stabs him through yet again, it seems as though he kills him 5 times. And as he does so, his eyes he begins to try and create another clone as he's being stabbed in the heart. And you start seeing that there's actually a greater struggle as it begins to birth another head from the side of his shoulder. As he convulses, another one stretches out from the right side of his shoulder, another one from his lower sort of area of his abdomen, and another one sort of just straight off of his own head, as 5 heads grow out of this guy's body as he's sort of like convulsing, almost like as if he's about to be sick. And he goes, "That's it. You've reached your limit. No matter how far you keep pushing your body can only go so far, even with this. So now it's time for the experiment." As he then he sort of goes to his head, as suddenly a strange halo appears in his hand as he removes it from the top of his head, and he shoves it onto this blade that he has stabbed him with. As then bindings and markings reach all across his entire body, as the heads, each one of their heads, a single eye transforms into sort of this green demonic looking eye, as 5 appear on his body. Now with this, I shall do exactly what I wanted. Goodbye, as he then removes the blade, as he just dies, but his body begins convulsing until eventually it shrinks down until it just becomes nothing but a small ring of black and contorted flesh, as it looks like the exact ring that Ferb was wearing. This will be the greatest piece of our history. As it then later shows an individual putting on the ring and then going into a battle. This individual has multiple wings. It in fact looks like the individual who came to speak with the professor before, but it seems as though he's now a few years older. As he goes into battle, he is then decapitated, but then just as his body begins to fall to the ground, it's then that his body just disappears. As he then reappears in front of the individual who killed him, as he then kills them. He's then shot in the head with a beam, As then, yet again, he sort of warps and distorts out of reality and appears somewhere else in the battlefield, completely safe. Again, he dies as he kills his foes again and again and again, as suddenly all of the eyes on the ring, each time he dies, disappear until one remains.
Okay.
He then is seen speaking to the professor, as he then says, "This is amazing. You've cracked it, Professor. A device that is possible, that it can warp reality. To have it that as if a person never truly was killed." The professor looks concerned and says, "Those eyes should open up in a matter of a few days, but be careful. We don't exactly know the extent of this." "Ah, Professor, you worry too much. Besides, it's 5 times. I only died 4. Well, should I say, I should have died 4. As then later on, the professor is found near the individual as he has been stabbed again by some kind of user of a blackened blade. As it cuts through him, he disappears and reappears, only to try and fight the assailant, as he is then pierced through the chest yet again, killing him. The final eye on the ring had already closed up, and as he disappears for the last time, the ring falls to the ground. As suddenly, one after the other, all 5 of the eyes open back up. But the...
Is this you attempting to grant for me to feel pity? Sympathy? Want my help?
Am this ring. This is who I am.
Oh, it's not what you were. Do you desire to go back to what you were?
I desire one thing. For those who to wear me, to truly be forgotten. And for one day, this man who created me, to also be forgotten. So...
I have an idea that might aid both of us.
Its eyes look over at you.
You were once, one of us, a being of corporeal flesh. If you want, I can grant you that again.
What is done cannot be undone to me.
Oh yes, Animite can do many things. All things, really.
There are many who have tried. This will not be any different.
They were not me.
They were
That's
better.
fair. Were they, though? Did they try that hard?
Many
Why
have
would they
been.
care so much about her ring that grants them 5 lives?
Many have been forgotten.
Exactly. I don't want your powers. I want to help you.
What makes you think that I want to be saved?
Why else would you show me your past?
To make you understand of what I can do.
I have doubts of that.
As the darkness begins to continue to creep in around the 2 of you, the eyes begin to sort of close up, and you are no longer inside of this image, but instead you are now sort of just outside of Ferb's body. As you're still floating there, as you then begin to see this strange sort of presence wrapped around Ferb's body, looking like as if the eyes are now staring at you, and this sort of like blackened silhouette is standing over Ferb, as a part of it seems to be sort of leaking out from the ring and conversing and covering behind his left arm, and sort of wrapping around and sort of standing over standing over him from behind.
What is your name?
It does not continue to answer.
Don't worry. Have heart. So I'll be over soon enough. And I will attempt to fix you. To grant you that which was stolen from you. But not now. Later, after we're done with this.
It seems to roll its eyes, but all the way back over to Ferb, as it continues to just look at Ferb.
Aldous will, smile and then go look back to where the key is, and then, knowing where the key is, he'll return to the security room.
Well, outside the security room.
No, he'll probably turn to his body and, I guess, listen to his mind, listen out again to see if he can hear Felix or anyone else. Essentially, to hear if Felix's plan has gone correct without actually contacting him.
Okay, well, roll for telepathy, and whilst that's going on, Felix, we now come back to you.
Okay.
Felix, he sat you down and he's sort of talking to you. It's like, well, obviously, if that is the case and that you are able to get us an animite tail, we would perhaps enter into an agreement of some sort.
Of course. Felix is going to explain generally what's happening, like the war.
Okay.
It just that's since a lot of information to unfold, and we're already getting close to the end time. I'm just going to say that he explains that
He then stops you after you sort of explain the war and the war between Matrata and Jotunjail and Anarche and the whole thing, and he sees the band on your arm as well, and he then says, right, I'm going to have to cut you off here.
Okay.
That would explain a few things. Okay. Aldous, up until now you've heard this, heard sort of what's going on in the mines. As you then he just goes, I'm sorry, I need some time to think about this. Is it alright if you come back a little later?
Of course, yes.
Thank you. I appreciate your offer. It is a possibility of a lifetime. As he opens the door and lets you sort of walk out as he closes the door. As Aldous, you're reading this guy's mind, and the entire time you're almost mentally screaming, because he goes, so that's why those individuals from Matrata were trying to buy it off of us. But now that I know that they have animite tails, perhaps they could offer one in chance with us, so that I could give them. After all, I don't want to exactly bet this man against the entirety of the Celestial City. So perhaps maybe I could try and strike a deal with the angels, and they'll give me at least one of the animite tails. After all, if they have any of the chosen select few, we might be able to learn even further amounts of our history. But now it's time to get rid of this chump.
Yeah, I think I'll mental link with Felix now.
Before you do so, though, obviously the door's now just shut behind Felix. You then hear a mind just sort of go, you just hear some other minds just sort of go off, saying this, that, and the other. But one of them just saying, like, these damn angels are really pissing me off today.
Which mind is that?
It's the security guard.
Oh. Well, I think you know what I'm going to do. I will. Can I read his mind then? Can I see through his eyes?
You can't see through his eyes unless if you try and mental link. But if you do so, he might become aware that you're linking with him.
Dark can be used later in the long hair requires 5 plus the SP minimum. I mean, no, I'll just read his mind still.
As you start focusing on what he's saying, so I'm just checking my notes. As you start focusing on what he's saying, one of the things that sort of comes up quite frequently is, I just wish these guys would go away, but I know that they're not going to leave. Alright, time to get rid of them. Well, more specifically, time to see if the manager will speak to them. these guys are such pompous douchebags. I mean, they believe that they're some great celestial beings and angels and all this lot, and yet they think that that's the excuse to treat us like dirt. Aren't they supposed to be like guardians or something? But then again, if they get their hands on the items that they're asking for, whoever is on their bad side, hate to see exactly what happens. Enoriel? What kind of a name is that? Enoriel. And Razriel? What kind of a name? These are such... what the heck? Oh, shit, shit. Maybe I'm sweating.
They know who either of those names are, because they don't ring any bells in my mind.
They shouldn't, because you've never heard of them.
Oh, good. For once, that is correct. That is the correct
That
answer.
is legitimately the correct answer, yeah. You've never heard of these names. Enoriel or Razriel. And also, he then just goes, what kind of a name is Saliel? Oh shit, I shouldn't be laughing. Must not laugh or could die.
And I think I'll kind of ignore the rest of that and go mental link with Felix now, because it's getting that time.
Felix, you've now been walking around and you've finally found where the others are. As you sort of walk up to them and just say, hey, you then sort of immediately feel your mind sort of invaded with a couple of words as Aldous suddenly speaks.
Hello? The angels are coming, and I think they're trying to buy the weapon first. Also, the manager doesn't want to give it to you at all. He's going to try and give it to the angels for an anime tale.
Alright. Well, I know the angels are also... I'm target number 1, or 2, I guess if you... Anake's probably more valuable. Perhaps I could, distract said angels. And you have... I hate to go this route, but you have mind-altering things, right?
Yes. In what way do you want mind alter? Like make an illusion?
Perhaps convince the manager. Of doing either the trade with us or just giving it to us. Mind
if you
easier.
I could just attempt to possess him and get him to give it to us.
Do whatever you think will work best. I'll go deal with the angels.
Okay, I will sign off.
As you disconnect your mental link, the thing that you then immediately hear is sort of just like, get out of the way, come on now, come on. As you just see this guy, he's got like slick backs, almost like pompadour hair. He's got sort of like a very light purple and reddish sort of light wings, like light energy wings. As he's walking around, sauntering around like as if he's like the top dog. There's then a woman in sort of specialized robes and pauldrons, as she also has wings on her back. But then you then see like this really big, bulky looking sort of tired guy with sort of slicked back hair, sort of just he's sort of got a bit of a beard going on, but he's sort of in like somewhat of a toga, as he just looks really tired and bored. But the dude is like about nearly 7 feet tall.
For a second, it just sounded like you were describing Felix.
Yeah, exactly.
Big, bulky, tired guy.
Because this is where you then start... This is then when you then start realizing, oh shit, this is the guy who spoke to them. Oh yeah, that makes sense. As the three of them walk down the aisle, I was like, well, what do we have here? It seems as though we have number 1 target just standing in the way of us right now. Felix Fatigue, I believe that they called you.
Correct, that is my legal name. So, Angels of Eden.
Idiots of Jotun. Oh, we're not going anywhere. So, you've got 2 options. Get the hell out, or... As then sort of the tip of his finger begins glowing a small energy orb. I guess we could put you 6 feet under right here.
I'd like to see you try. Felix will go ahead and try and reactive transform.
Okay.
I assume this would be like roll initiative.
I'm going to say you can. I'm going to say just roll your SPMA to transform anyway, and then we'll do initiative in a second.
Oh god.
I should give this to dice rolls 1, not dice rolls 2. Just so it's on stream.
Okay.
21.
So you sort of bulk up, transform, as he just goes, "Oh, is that how it's gonna be, huh?" As he almost looks like Jim Carrey in the way of which his face is contorting. Like, he's like trying to look smug, but now he's furious at the same time, so his eyebrows are going into a cross face, whilst his jaw is sticking out forwards, and he's got a sort of like a trying not to be angry whilst trying to still keep the smile look like, "Oh no, this is how it's going, is it?" As he's looking at you sort of in this very weird way. Stan and Ferb, you're seeing this as well, but you now just noticed that he's bulked up as Honoriel just goes, "Oh, this is gonna be fun." As the other larger one in the toga just goes, "Oh man, do we have to? I don't want to fight. Ugh, so boring. Then get out of my way and don't bother me again. Oh, but the boss said that we weren't supposed to fight and kill civilians. They're dirty, insignificant creatures compared to us. That's not very nice. Come on."
You know, I like this guy.
"We can take it outside. We don't have to fight them." As he puts his hand on his shoulder. "You dare touch me?"
I
Scary.
don't suppose. Can I actually attempt to project into the main one's mind?
You can attempt to do so.
Because part of it, because I think that'd be kind of hilarious if I could do that. 30.
You get into his mind.
Oh, like you know the one that's screaming like we should kill them all.
Yeah. You get into his mind. Yeah.
Okay. Can I attempt to possess them?
Yeah. You can. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. I think we should quit while we're ahead. Obviously, we'll lose this fight. Are you kidding? They've already beaten us so many times.
Hmm. Whoa. Oh, we haven't even fought them once, but I kind of like that you're actually gonna walk back.
Do you remember Samael?
Who?
Well, actually, what were the ones that we killed called?
Simakael.
Simakael? Who are the other ones?
Roll history.
God.
You remember Simakael and that one guy?
Do you remember, Raziel and Kerflurkenurken and Jacob the Butcher Boy?
Oh.
Do you remember all?
Sure I do. Right. Yeah. Oh, I'm so terrible with names.
Are you disrespecting me?
Hmm. Oh no,
Can I see what powers this character has?
He's this guy that he's got like an energy emission power, and you can feel the sheer power that this guy has, like destructive power.
Well,
that you're possessing, by the way.
Yeah. We shall leave for now. Don't listen. You've not won this day, Felix, or any of your pathetic non-angel people.
Roll me SP.
Could I roll insight?
As you try, yeah, you can roll insight, yeah.
Cool. I just like, because Felix has no idea what's going on. He is no.
This guy suddenly got a lot dumber with his words.
Yeah.
Suddenly you just feel like, yeah, okay, yeah, you win this time, Felix Fatigue. As you suddenly stop your words, and you feel like a horrible spine-tingling shudder throughout your entire body. As you no longer feel like you're inside of this body, you actually feel like you're inside of a small prison. Oh. I'm sorry, Mr. Fatigue. It seems as though I have someone else on my list right now. Someone much dumber than you or any of your other compatriots. So I'll be taking my leave now. Because I'm pretty sure I'm about to demolish this place. So that's who you are. I've heard that there was one in your ranks that had all sorts of abilities, but I didn't think that you'd already gotten your hands on telepathy.
I don't think I can let you go if you're going after one of my allies.
You suddenly see an incredibly creepy smile go across his face, as it's clear that he's not listening to you.
Alright. Well, I guess it's time to start punching.
Do you go for it?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start with just a regular combo.
Okay.
So, 20 plus 16. 28 to hit.
So you go off, rammed right towards them, and suddenly you are blocked with the individual, the woman with light wings, as she stops your fist dead in the water. As you feel your sort of spirit voltage hitting through, but it doesn't seem to be harming her.
Okay.
Well, it's nice to know that there's someone as strong as I am. Why don't we take this outside, big boy?
I'd love to.
Perfect. Razriel, make sure that Noriel doesn't do something stupid. Hey! And also, I'm about to show this man exactly how big he really is.
Oh.
As Noriel then just says, first of all, gross. Second of all, Aldous, why don't you and I have a little fun? As you begin noticing that he's dashing towards the rough location towards where you are.
Can I
Can
attempt to break through the prison? Because I won't be here next week.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll tell you what. Yeah, just try it once.
Okay, what do you have to get? Just so I know.
If not, you're a dead man.
I won't tell you what you need. You just have to roll it. Higher than that, dude. As he rushes towards you, as like his arm begins to glow with like a high radiance, and as soon as you notice that he creates that radiance around his fist, you suddenly realize that the prison isn't broken, but he claps his hands as you suddenly wake up in your body, and as you're about to be hit by this attack, you're immediately sort of vanished from where you are to suddenly Jotun jail, as that is where we shall end this session.
Well, that's what I did.
Thank you very much for everyone who is listening. This has been the Dev Plays the Crucible of Avarice campaign using the Animite Tales tabletop RPG system. If you want to check out the system, check it out on animitetales.com, or even have a look at some more of our videos that we've done, such as some of our podcasts and even episodes doing Dev Plays, which is us developing the game as we also make playthroughs of it, using the system and playing different sorts of campaigns that I or others come up with. Thank you very much for listening, and as always, have a wonderful night.
Bye.
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 Bye.